I've had a couple people ask me about the books on my little shelf here on the desk. I made the mention that they're particular favorites of mine, and that having them right here with me is like having my friends with me while I'm writing. And so I'll talk about just a couple of them. We'll start with The Underground Man by Ross MacDonald. And Ross MacDonald was a mystery writer, mostly in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And there are those who say he was the best American mystery writer ever, and maybe this is his finest book, The Underground Man. It was interesting that really serious writers of literature, if you will, said about Ross MacDonald, you know, he's really one of us. And usually mysteries you can only read once, but I read that one 3 times. It was really good. What else have we got here? Here we are. Just Kids by Patti Smith. Most of you know Patti Smith, if you know her at all, as the Queen of Punk. Very famous for her albums, particularly Horses. And this is about her very young years, her very early years in New York, where she was the lover of Robert Mapplethorpe, who was famous for other things. And so it was kind of a difficult relationship in a way, but it's just a charming book. And even after they'd gone their separate ways, her love for him and his for her was still very clear. And it's just a very, very sweet book, full of nice stories. And maybe one more. Just because he's been so important to me as a writer, Ernest Hemingway's The Snows of Kilimanjaro. This is kind of his greatest hits as far as his short stories go. And though he's most famous as a novelist, I think the thing he did best was to write short stories. And let me read one paragraph, because it captures his style, almost like an incantation, an interesting use of very simple words and yet repeated images till he almost casts a spell on you. This is the first paragraph to In Another Country. In the fall, the war was always there, but we did not go to it anymore. It was cold in the fall in Milan, and the dark came very early. Then the electric lights came on, and it was pleasant along the streets looking in the windows. There was much game hanging outside the shops, and the snow powdered in the fur of the foxes, and the wind blew their tails. The deer hung stiff and heavy and empty, and small birds blew in the wind, and the wind turned their feathers. It was a cold fall, and the wind came down from the mountains. I guess that's about it for right now. I'll come back, do another short one of maybe some others on another part of the shelf. This program is brought to you by Sri Lanka, a book that came out in April, and I hope you might consider buying it. You can find it in all the online sources, Powell's Books also, or that you can order it through your local bookstore if you want to support them. Until the next time, bye-bye.